Good afternoon, everybody. We are starting. Here we go. Quick transition over. I am Alvarez. I'll be commentating tonight with you. I have no secondary, so let's just get into it. We got Josh Willis with the quickest time so far. He has last. Well, still getting used to this broadcast mode. I don't see actually a time that he's done. Everyone's on their outlet, it seems. I think that's why nobody's actually done anything. Let's go through. See if we can find a driver. There we go. Pick roll with a 152. He has set the quality lap, fast lap 152.8. We'll see some other drivers going across the line shortly. Andrew Pickerel of the Totally Legit Racing Team. Car number 133. Sorry, car number 333. As we go across, we'll take a look at some drivers here. Got Josh Willis, who is in across the line with a 153.1. He will be taking P3. Lindauer in P4 with a 154.5. Rich Geralman with a 152.9. Josh Willis already going down the chopping block there as he is now P4. With Andrew Pickerel still holding the best time at a 152.8. He got out quick. He got out first, and he is the driver to be watching out for. Pickerel's a strong driver. We also have Riley Lanier in P2. On that was his best lap of 152.824. That is wow. That is tenths. That is hundredths off the time of Pickerel there. That's a really very good qualifying lap. We got 40 seconds left at quali, so it looks like we're going to be seeing not a whole lot change over the course of this. The strong drivers that have been strong might be able to pull a couple seconds off their times, but I don't expect to see anything different. Just the relative times. We'll go back on board with Riley Manier, the Greendale Community College team. See if he can improve upon his time. Andrew Pickerel, his Pickerel goes across and does not improve upon his time, so it's really just going to be up to Manier here to pull through and actually get a good quality time. Went a little wide on those last few turns, so I don't know exactly where he's going to end up until we get across. As he pulls a 152.3, he now is in P1. Josh Willis with a 153.1. He does not go faster. Richie Droman, who has just pulled off a 152.125. He is hundredths faster than Manier there. That is pretty cool to see. Let's see if there's any other drivers that are going to be coming across this line. As Pickerel was able to get another lap down before this ends, as he has Miller there from the Flying Lizard Racing team on the inside. These two are battling it out. This is qualifying, so it's interesting to see these two really go at each other. You'd think they'd give each other a little bit more respective space, but sometimes it's just one's going pretty quick. He's going across this corner with a 130.5. See where he ends up across that line. There's only three drivers on the track right now, and Santiago Orozco is going to be the last driver to cross the line. Okay. Got Eric Miller in P7, so we'll just pull the garage there. And we have Geralman P1, Manier P2, Pickerel P3, Willis P4, Chronotis P5, Provolone P6, Miller P7, Watson P8, Lindauer P9, Romulus P10, Orozco P11, Cassian P12, Hummer P13, Engelman P14. I don't think Engelman was able to get in a lap time, so don't see anything changing there. So we'll go overhead, take a look at some of these drivers. So we got a race. Let's see, session start. Let's go to drive. A 3 minute session start. That's a bit unusual. I haven't seen it like that before. Maybe it's always been that way. I thought it was like a minute and 30. So we'll just take a quick look at some of these drivers. This is the TWP racing team. So you can see that in that livery is still not loaded in yet. Got a couple more going on here. We got this Third Eye racing team for the GT4 series. Looking pretty slick. So go down the line. Let's see if there's any other ones in. Another TWP racing. Got the nice Flying Lizard team. That's very interesting. As they got Sire, Jet, and Romulus. The wheel's a little shaky right there. Going down the line. Ooh, it's a classic. The Martini. Beautiful, beautiful livery. Shaken, not stirred. Truer words never said. That is a livery that was meant for this league. Too bad we won't be seeing it because it is a livery from the last season. What is this? We got a Guac. I don't know whose that is, but it looks Mom's Calling Racing Team. I'm speechless. I really am speechless on that one. We got Sundar, McConnell, and Gucassian in the explosion of the McConnell. That's definitely that one. You take a good look at the many ways of the McConnell. It's something. The Flying Lizard is joining us. There's that one right there. That's pretty nice to see. And then down in the back with the classic, that's for sure. We'll pull ahead. Let's go back to the broadcasting. And we are going to go with I think we'll stick with Cornotis on this one. Or, no, let's go with Willis. Josh Willis in the Third Eye team. American, you can see it right there. Number 22 will be holding P4. He's a strong driver, and I foresee a lot of shakeups to happen during this. So we have a couple more drivers that have joined us right there. There's the Engelman. There's Bravo is joining us as well. So this is an open lobby GT4 race. It's going to be a day and night race. So we'll see how these drivers fare in these conditions. As we go on a short formation lap directly to the rolling start, we'll stay on board on the helo cam until we see some variable changes that happen with the drivers. Really putting that helo cam cameraman operator's money in right now. He's got to focus on a lot of things happening. Come on, pick roll. I don't want to be on Willis. All right, those Jerome and Near are in 1 and 2. They have a little bit of a lead there when we were doing this rolling start. We see one car going on the inside to get a good even cut. Ooh, quick overtake there by Josh Willis, who overtook. A lot of this is changing. Okay, let's go stay with that. Pickrell is in P4 now. Josh Willis is overtaking him. As we have Riley Manier in P2, Jerome in P1. Going smooth through this. He's going to go on the inside to try to get that overtake. Is unsuccessful. We have car 1, 2, and 3 here. These drivers are getting a little bit of a pull away. We can see here now that Manir is going to be going on the inside as he has just overtaken Girolamo there. These two were teammates. It's interesting to see that happen. He tries to go in on the inside, and he is getting... He's got Josh Willis of the Third Eye team is really pushing in there. You almost thought he had that. It's unfortunate. Ooh, it was a little close. As we have another driver that just had a little bump incident right there. That was Pickrell going against Josh Willis there. Josh is able to keep his place. Provolone is out on the heels of Pickrell. Pickrell has made a move on Josh Willis there, so doesn't hold and doesn't stick as he's now ahead of him again. Oh, as Pickrell goes in on he's on the outside of that, so it's gonna be hard to see if he can hold this. As I say that, Pickrell has been able to go ahead of Josh Willis there. As we have another driver has overtaken Blossom there. Or a lot of these crowds are shaping up to disperse. We have P4, P5, P6, P7, all within tenths of each other. Really coming in hard because we have P8 really trying to go on the aggressive attack there, try to get closer to those drivers, and they are playing defensively. But Josh has the inside here. He's already let Pickrell by, but I hate to see it, but he's gotta have to pull off a more aggressive approach as he has 4 cars behind him, really itching to get in on the battle there. So we see these drivers are holding their own here. I think Girolamo really had a better line there, but was unable to capitalize on it as Manir goes across. We'll be pulling away from these drivers for just a second here. We see Bravo will go ahead of Chet Engelman and Eric Cassian. Don't know what. There looks to be some damage on Chronotis there, so it must have been an incident that occurred early on. Jason Provolone of the TWP team, car number 630. He is proving to be a fast, capable driver in this series so far. It's mid-season break, but he's going to be joining the GT4 TWP team coming up in the next GT4 series, championship series. He is a fast driver. I mean, he already went from, I think, P8 down to P5. He's overtaken Constable Cody Wassam, Eric Miller, and is now really pushing against Josh. He has a half a second gap on him, but I think he's going to form something going on there as we see two drivers really going at it. We have Constable Cody Wassam trying to hold in on the inside of that defense against Trev Hummer of the TWP racing team. Oh, as we see a driver go off, that will be Jason Provolone. I think commentator's cursed it. No. Yeah, he is now behind and dropped down to P8. Something must have happened there. He's lost a lot of positions in one corner. We see Jet Engelman, who was able to overtake Jose Bravo of the BMW Lifestyle. It's an open lobby driver with us right there. As we see Fernandez try to go close in on the back of Santiago Orozco of the Tacos Locos team. The 2-second gap there from those other drivers. Lindauer has stepped out of this race as Shirk has joined. Lewis also joining the race. It's just a lap down, I believe. I think that's what happened there. Is Richie Gerolman has taken the inside of Riley Manier, and he's not able to stick it through that corner. We've seen some interesting battles occur with these two drivers. So Provolone is making quick do of his mistake from last lap. He is already P7 off of P8. Now attacking Constable Cody Wassum. He's about less than half a second behind him. So we got just a couple tenths off this driver. And we'll definitely see him try to make a move within the next like 4 turns. I would believe it. He's, very strong. Pull himself back to Eric Miller there. So from the start of this race, we have when that train starts to go and that line forms, you can definitely see the pace of the drivers change. You have the car number 1 and 2, position 1 and 2 are sitting up there in a comfortable lead with a race pace of a 151.7, even stronger than the qualifying times from both of these drivers. They are now splitting away from these from Pickrell, who had a 152.7. Really just shows you where these drivers at with their skill level right now, as we have a full formation of drivers all in turn close to each other. Pickrell's a little bit off from the pack that's behind him. You definitely see where he's more leaning towards trying to get on the attack of those drivers, but we have Josh Willis, who's about a second down with a 152.9 as his fastest. He's definitely not reaching those paces that those positions 1 and 2 are, but he's leading a pack of drivers that are also just tenths off each other, if not hundreds. As we have a Eric Miller crossing the line with a 152.9, and with Josh Willis from the Third Eye team with a 152.9 as well. Looking at that, that's literally hundreds off, tens of hundreds off from these drivers. We're not going to see anything different. These drivers are very strong and capable, and with a match that's 15 minutes long, we're not going to see much change occur besides some unfortunate incidences that may be either racing related or they might be just driver error. As we see Provolone try to go on the inside of Constable Cody Wassum, but he's unable to stick it, and Eric Miller is really getting close to Josh Willis up there, but he is also unable to make anything happen. It's not an area where you're going to be passing anyway, but I mean, you can make the case that any area is capable of passing if you have the right gumption to do so. But what's going to really set Eric apart here is if he tries to go in on the inside. If he had the pace, he would definitely want to do that, but I think Josh is defending pretty well right now. Got Trev Hummer with 3/10 off the pace of Provolone, but I mean, I don't think Provolone's worried about his backside. I think he's just worried. He's trying to get on that attack right there. Okay, as we see stronger times from these drivers on that next lap. We have Eric Miller with a 152.1 and Josh Willis with a 152.6. They're both improving, but you know, Josh is just defending very well right now. I think he's just got that good defense up for Miller to not do anything. As we see Romulus out there in no man's land in P9. He's got 10 seconds ahead of him to the nearest driver in 4 seconds off of Jed Engelman. Cronotis was trying to have a go at Bravo there, but he's unable to capitalize. Bravo just kept that inside line, stayed defensive. As we see Cronotis is all over trying to find that space to get by him. With 2 minutes left on the clock, I don't think we're going to see much change occur from the top of the leaderboard there. Oh, that was calculated. That was extremely calculated. Cronotis has just overtaken Jose Bravo there. He goes a little wide on that, but he's still ahead. That's what you like to see from any driver. Riley Manier is in P1 holding strong. He's got 1 minute and 10 left on this clock with a best of 152.2. I don't see we're going to see changes unless there's a minor slip up with, you know, Richie Girolamo of the TWP racing team. He's at a 151.2 as well. So I mean, like, these drivers are on pace with each other, but I don't think there's going to be much change unless something, you know, drastic occurs by driver error. We have Pickroll P3, a Totally Legit Racing team with a 152.2. The man is strong, and he still has 3.5 seconds off the next driver, which is Josh Willis in P4. Eric Miller is still unable to capitalize, because Josh has probably held up with really strong defense. As Provolone has, I don't know if he overtook him, but Jason Provolone is in P6. He was in P5 not too long ago, dropped down to P8, and is now back at P6. It looks like Constable Cody Wasm had some type of incident occur, because he is now P8. And even Trev Hummer was able to get by him. So it's just really, it's anyone's guess what happened on those off-camera moments that occur. Again, we see Romulus P9, 12 seconds off the pace of those other drivers ahead of him. And then, you know, total, we don't even know exactly where that's at. We see Jed Engelman, a.k.a. Elroy Jetson, Space Cowboy, a.k.a. the livery legend Jet Black, the Tennessee Tornado. If you don't know who he is the livery god. He makes the best. He is the best. He may not be P1 right now, but this driver is going to go across that track in style. And style points matter. Of the Flying Lizard Racing Team. See that nice looking martini in the from Romulus there, as he's sporting the Brazilian flag. we see, well, like I said, this is anyone's game, but Josh Willis is P5. He is been overtaken by Eric Miller there. You hate to see it, but some type of incidents occurs. We see Lindauer is going really slow, letting those drivers by. Must have had, maybe just doesn't want to create any incidents that occur. So we see Richie Geralman is going across right there, but he's not going to be able to improve upon his time as Riley Manier has finished the race with a 152.1. Richie Geralman P2. Andrew Pickrell, the Totally Legit Racing team, is dying as he goes across. And what is happening? What is happening? These drivers... What? What? Is he pushing that driver across? Oh my gosh. Andrew Pickrell, who was in P3, has been pushed across by another driver across the line at P8. I don't even know what's happening. Am I having a stroke? What just happened? Oh my gosh, as we see, I really gonna have to pull back. Let's see. We have Eric Miller, P3. Trev Hummer, P4. Provolone, P5. No, that can't be. That can't be. This isn't making any sense. What happened on that last turn? Why do we have Josh Wilson P6? Why is Provolone P5? Wassam P7. Pickrell P8. Romulus P9. Engelman P10. You don't see that often, and that is not driving we approve of. Santiago Orozco, the Tocos Locos team. You can take it out a driver. He's just celebrating on the sidelines there. I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. That just doesn't have any sense to me. What occurred? It really is a... Whew! This session has now ended. I believe there will be a 5-minute free practice and a 6-minute quali with a race of 15 minutes. We're going to be going into a night race here at Kyalami for the mid-season GT4 series season break. I'm at a loss of words, and I'm not sure I'm even expressing myself correctly here, because we have a shake-up that didn't make any sense. Why is Eric Miller in P3, Trev Hummer P4, Provolone P5? Now, Provolone's a strong driver, but what happened between Pickrell not being able to go across the finishing line without somebody assisting him to the finishing line? Did his car give up? Okay, so we have a free practice here that's going to be starting. So I'm going to go leave the lobby real quick, take a look at what happened. That is just something you're not supposed to see right at the end. I mean, we had a strong finish right at the end. Every driver was going down that last couple of turns pretty strong. What occurred within those last couple of turns that shook up the entire grid, the mid-pack grid? Doesn't make any sense here. We'll go pretty far down here. So looking at Josh Willis, he's already ahead of Miller. Pickrell was 10 seconds ahead, and he still somehow managed to just drop dead on that final turn. So Josh Willis going across into the final turns. Josh is doing strong, fine, great work. Oh, he goes right on by. Oh. What? 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 'Cause... 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 ' He's alongside. Josh Willis also goes slow. Trev Hummer goes up on the inside. And then you have... Who is that? Provolone? Then you have Provolone go across, which looks to be just off the pace, like maybe just seconds. That doesn't make any sense to me. They let these drivers by, and then at a photo finish, that other driver, Provolone, does go ahead of him and takes it. The final results were Provolone beats Willis by 1/10 of a second, and then Cody Wassam also jumps across Pickrell. It just doesn't make any sense. Hud, Pickrell. So he is in third, and then he just... Maybe he didn't have enough fuel. That's what ended up doing it in for him, is Andrew Pickrell did not place enough fuel and was dead. Gets a little assist by one of the other drivers across the line. Oh, that's an incident where you won't think that that's what's happening, but it doesn't make sense why Josh Willis was willing to sacrifice his best to also go really slow across the line. Because even though these are just mid-season break matches, you still don't want to do the worst. You want to get in there. You want things to happen. You want to be the best. That's unfortunate. Losing because of a gas shortage.
Green light. Give it okay.
Whew. Okay, we have about a minute left in free practice as we go on board with one of these drivers. You know, these track cams are not the best, I'll say that. I think we're better off looking at something like this. Take on the broadcasting map there. I think any of these drivers have actually formulated a lap besides Chad Engelman there. A.K.A. Elroy Chechen, Space Cowboy, a.k.a. Livery 11 Jet Black, the Tennessee Tornado. Sorry, I have to say it. He's it's mandatory. It's part of his shtick. He wants it done. I mean, TWP Racing, I honestly don't know what happened there. The allowance of those two drivers to go across before Josh Willis was a shakeup that doesn't make sense. First, I think you saw that wrong there, Spartan Golf. That was actually Richie Girolamo in P2, Provolone, Trev Hummer in P4, Provolone in P5, and Josh Willis P6. Believe I'm correct on that. No, Constable Cody Wassam was P6. Josh Willis was P8. Yeah, what a rough ending to such a solidly paced race. These drivers were really giving it their all. We see a lot of drivers are still out there. Races, practice has ended. We'll see a ooh, that's a little. Yeah, Riley Manier was the race lead of that last one, but this is a night and day difference. We should see that sun go down, and quality should be set somewhere where the nighttime goes. Ooh, it's a little frustration there, maybe. This, Josh Willis pulls a snap on that driver. All right. Qualifying has started, and per the usual, Josh Willis is going to be the first driver out. He likes to get out there ahead of all these other ones. As we see a full lobby start to form. We got a car in the Giannetta. That will be interesting to see that car on track. A lot of Aston Martins. A lot of them. I think, yeah, that's eight Aston Martins out of the 21. That's a pretty good margin. We only have one McLaren. Jerry Sherrick. That man knows what's up. The McLaren GT4 is not a bad car. People that say that just don't know how to drive it. And see a couple BMWs out there, a couple Mercs, only 2 Audis, and 3 Porsches. I think that Porsche team is actually the team. Oh, it's 2 separate teams there. These drivers will be on the same team in the GT3 series, but not the GT4. They have decided against that. So Eric Ocasio and Josh Willis are both on the same team for the GT4 Panzer Wallmotor, but on the GT4 series we have Eric Ocasio in the Betelgeuse team, and let's see, where else is he at? Yeah, we have Josh Willis in the Third Eye Porsche with Ray Fries and M. Bassel. Interesting to see those drivers out there. And something I didn't know until looking at my driver roster is we have 3 drivers on this track right now that are part of the same team beyond the TWP team. We have Eric Miller, Jet Engelman, aka Elroy Jetson Space Cowboy, aka Livery Legend Jet Black, the Tennessee Tornado, and Romulus Kayaked in the Flying Lizard team. Only a couple of those drivers are actually using the livery, and that would be Romulus, who is not using the correct livery for their team right now, but they're part of the Flying Lizard team. That will be the GT4 roster for that team. That's a very strong team. It'll be interesting to see where they end up. As we have Trev Hummer, Jason Provolone, and Richie Girolamo on the TWP Alpha Aston Martin team. And I don't believe this is totally correct, but we have the we have a G4 side and a Train Boy 2005 on the TWP Beta team of the Aston Martin as well. Oh, look at that. In the GT4 series, we have a couple of drivers that are also on the same team. We have Constable Cody Wassam, and he is going to be in the BRB club, driving the Mercedes with Riley Manier in the BRB club. Mike Burkhoff. I don't think Mike Burkhoff's here right now. I don't see him on the leaderboard, so don't think that's it. And then we have a couple more duo drivers, as we have Pickrell and Chronotis of the Rich Energy and the Audis. So that was a 152.5 that put Josh Willis a P3, but he's dropping down that list right now, as we have Riley Manier, the Greendale Community College team, with a 151.4 as his best. Richie Girolamo, who was also in P2 of the last race. So P1, P2 respective in their same quality times. They finished the same race in the same positions as he is, about 3/10 off that other driver. We have Daniel Caslassie, who was also set a 154.1. I believe he might get bumped down the list a little bit, because these drivers' pace is about 152 throughout the race. As we see another driver go across here. Let's A lot of these times have been invalid because we have Lindauer, Pickrell, Chronotis, Provolone, Miller, Engelman, and the other drivers that are of the open lobby that we don't see. Um, some of the drivers are TSR drivers, but they just don't have their tags down on that. But Pickrell is a strong, fast driver. He was up there in the top on the quali of the last race, so I'm interested to see where he comes out because he was P3 up until he had that gas shortage. So it's unfortunate that that happened, but Lindauer, being the sport that he is, pushed that driver across the finishing line for him, helping him finish that race last time, ending up in P8 from P3 with just, you know, less than, I don't know, 50 feet to go from that racing line. He's now pulled out a 152.1, which puts him in P4. Josh Willis still holding P3. Eric Miller is now in P5. Constable Cody Watson's in P6. Chad Engelman pulls a really strong 152.3. Now we're looking at 10s off these drivers. This is insane because this is where it really comes down to is qualifying has ended. So any driver that has gone across the line, we're not going to see anything improve upon them, but it's going to open the space up for some of these drivers to really just like nail it out there. Lindauer, this might be his opportunity to get ahead. We'll see where his time goes. 153.3. 153.7 was his time. Now he's a P11. This is a full lobby, people. Got a couple spots to go, but it looks like these drivers are still out there trying to improve upon their times. We see Richie Geralman going across. Probably has like 4 corners left to go. All right, there we have it. Wow. Eric Miller has pulled off a 151 flat. He is now P1. Oh my God, that's something you weren't expecting. Trev Hummer's P5. Josh Willis goes down 1. Wow. And we have a driver that's not within the league here who's in P9. It'll be interesting to see if anything occurs there. Oh, as we have another interesting thing that's happening here. We have 3 minutes on this till the start of this race, and we have nothing but showers for now. 3 minutes, 10 minutes out. I think that's what that means. A night race in the rain. That is going to be a beautiful, beautiful shot. Let's just take a look at this flying lizard that was able to go across the line fastest. This is TWP Racing is in P2. Riley Manier in P3. That's not where his position usually is. So it'll be interesting to see because Josh Willis is in P4. We'll see if he can't improve upon his times from the last race and come across this with a good finish. We see another TWP driver up in the front here. And then another flying lizard. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. We'll just cross through, see what's going on here. The track is damp, but it's only going to get worse. So these drivers definitely need to be putting on the heavy wets. So we see Eric Cassian in that. I don't know what their team name is. And that would be another TWP as well. Well, it looks good. That rain is going to... Now we're at a wet track. It's 19 degrees Celsius with winds at 15 kilometers going northeast. This is going to be a an exciting race. We have 22 drivers with 2 Geniettas in a night race. After this race ends, it's going to be a 50-minute race. We'll be going to Spa-Francorchamps. And that will be a day-night race as well. 15 minutes each race. A night fight. We're going to have us a night fight. Yeah, it's almost like a night fight. We're going to have us a night fight. Be going down. All these drivers are starting to set their cars down. Got 20 seconds left. Lights will go on. As we'll pull away towards the back of the pack here, just to get a good look at what's going to be going down that straightaway. See who goes into it quickly.
There's some rain in this session, so watch out for slippery curves and remember to brake earlier.
There is some... There's bound to be something happening through that first turn. I'm not going to commentators curse this, but there's definitely going to be some issues that arise from the rain. It's wet. They started quali hot. There's already a couple drivers off to the right, the left of the track there. I don't know what that's about. I mean, this is formation rolling start, so there shouldn't be anyone outside of the position. As we are holding on Josh Willis. You almost want to pan it back a little bit.
Go, go, go.
Just to... We'll make a decisive change once we see some stuff happen up here. As these drivers go across strong. As all these drivers are going across strong. You're 3 wide through that. Oh, as there is an incident that occurs and one of the drivers is off onto the right, is trying to rejoin the track there. Oh, that is unfortunate for that driver. That's going to put somebody down low as we see relatives start to drop. That was Josh Willis. He is not going to be happy about that. He is down to 20th. That is not something you want to see off the, opening lap, as he is trailing behind. Wow. There's still room to improve. We have 14 minutes left on the fight. Yeah, I don't know why I said that one. Real question is, where is that damage on the other car? Because there was some damage. Going forward, this driver goes a little wide here as we're going in. Let's see. Looks like Eric Miller was passed by Richie Gerelman, who is now P1, and I bet Riley Manier is going to have a go at him as well. Richie and Riley were battling it out last race, but Riley was able to hold ahead of him. The good, strong defense and pace. Pace was strong. I think we'll see an attack happen on Eric Miller very shortly. If I would have to guess, I would think that Riley's going to go in on the inside of this next turn. Brake a little later and hold that inside line, but that is calculated. It's a masterclass in overtaking right there. Uh, so we have Eric Miller now holding P3. Here is it. Oh, let's see, Provolone is gonna have a go at Shurik there. I'm inside. Oh, as we have a driver off. And that is one of the TWBs. Oh, as Josh Willis tries to avoid that, he is able to, I think. He is pulled from P21 down to P14, so good for him. It's probably going to change here shortly. I think it's P12 that he's holding now. He went from P4 all the way down the leaderboard off the initial start, but we didn't have a lot of accidents that occurred right off the start. We just had that one specific accident that occurred for Josh, as we see a couple other drivers also have a racing incident. What happened there? And that driver is still off. And that is Provolone, who has been maybe taken to the corner there, but he could not back up as he goes. Oh, as Trev is pulling into the pits. The TWP racing team has not had a great start to this. They still have their one of their drivers in P1, so that's good for him, as he has already pulled away with a 2.5 seconds off of Riley Manier, but Eric Miller is still on the heels of him. So we will go down this list and see some interesting things that have happened. As Josh Willis has been able to overtake Chronotis there, and he is also just really going to the back of Romulus there. He tries to do a little mental games against the driver. I don't think we're going to see that change any indication of Romulus's performance, as he's going to try to hold a good, strong defense on the inside of this next corner going in. Wow. There's a couple of incidences that, you know, really changed the pace of this race, and for Josh, that means trying to come back and go on the attack, get some consistency there, but going in on the inside there with that overtake, and is he going to be able to hold it going into this? Oh, he just takes it. Romulus right behind him. Kind of pulls in on the curve. Josh Willis is now P10. Well, now it's 6 seconds off of my mistake. We'll just see that change in just a few after these laps end. Yeah, he's 6 seconds off of P9. Kolos in the Giulietta. So we'll pull away from Josh, as he is going to need some time to get closer to those drivers. Drivers are spaced out pretty evenly. Their pace is very strong. The track is still wet, but it hasn't gotten drastic here. It's still raining. I think with the addition of the rain and it being a night race, the space of most of these drivers has broken up. But we do see something interesting happening here, is that these backfield drivers that are sitting in the mid-teens are all strong as far as their pace. We got 4 of them, almost 5 of them, all holding similar lines. I'm not sure about their times, but it's very interesting. That driver goes really wide. Sir Lewis of the BMW Motorsports. He gets overtaken by Bravo there. Jay Bravo. Jose Bravo. It's not a part of our league, but he does have his first name out there. See, Santiago Orozco is going to try to have a go at this driver who also made a mistake of the Tacos Locos team. He's going to be pulling off a 2:01.9 as his best time. Be interesting to see, like, a driver that's in 18th place to a driver that's, you know, really up there. So you see Eric Cassian ahead of that little pack of drivers, kind of in no man's land. Same with the P13 in no man's land, as Romulus was ahead of Chronotis, but Chronotis was able to pull off an overtake through that corner and is sticking it going to this next corner as Romulus now holds P11. Oh, that was Josh Willis that pulled that off. My mistake. That was Josh Willis that went into P10, P11. Yeah, P10. It's a little frazzling because you think you're seeing one thing happen, but because this list keeps changing through, you know, sporadic time. I'm sure it's on a set time, but you just don't know exactly who's who. But Josh Willis now holds P10. He's, you know, he started P4, and now he's making time. He's getting back up there with 5 minutes left on the clock. We'll see him be able to take a couple more positions. As Kolos is still ahead of him, I don't believe he's made much ground. Must have just made a mistake, and Chronotis was able to come close. Yeah, earlier in this fight, he was trying to battle back to P9, so he must have just had an incident occur as we have Cody Wasson trying to defend his position here. Be interesting to see. And these two drivers were teammates last season. I believe they were teammates. That was, I think that was another driver, actually. So maybe not former teammates, so maybe they'll just go as aggressively as they possibly can. But we haven't seen former teammates drive any different than if they were driving against their teammate. So trying to hold a good, strong pace to get ahead of them as we see. Ooh, big racing incident from Jeremy Engelman of the Flying Lizard team. Also gets hit. Takes out Constable Cody Wassam, who's trying to pull back onto the track. That is not something you're looking forward to see at any point, as Cody Wassam leaves space for these drivers to maintain, as he's now pulling back to P10, as Josh Willis, Kolos, Jet Omegle, and all ahead. Oh no. Yeah, you hate to see it, but that driver was... Jeremy Engelman sent it in on the inside and really just stuck it into Constable Cody Wassam's rear left, and that was a racing incident for sure. He was just trying to make a good overtake as he goes a little wide, a little slippage from Jet Engelman, a.k.a. Elroy Jetson Space Cowboy, a.k.a. Livery Legend Jet Black, the Tennessee Tornado. Had a little bit of an incident. So we see Daniel Caslassie in the Aston Martin Racing. He's holding a good, strong lead over these drivers. As Kolos is going to try to have a go at Engelman. And this being the Ginetta, we get to see a little bit of a different angle. I don't know if that's good. Right-handed drivers, or right-sided drivers, I mean. It's a very odd perspective to take right here, but we'll move forward here. I think Eric Miller was just saying hi to his former team. I don't think these drivers have ever been teammates, but A friendly hello to a fellow seasoned driver of the Tracklicious Sim Racing. Don't think there's going to be much difference happening here with only a minute and 40 left in the times. He's getting a little close, though, to Manier, so it might be that he's going to be able to find a position to make a good attack. As those midfield drivers are changing ever so slightly.
Right, man. Neither is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
As Luis Andre Luz is going to have a go here at Romulus on the inside. Might be able to hold it. Yeah, I think he does. He's just got to get to that corner first. Romulus is unable to hold that as he has been overtaken by another driver on the field here. Ooh. Wow. That is something you weren't expecting to see. Romulus just pulled off an overtake on the inside on that final turn into the home stretch. You hope he is able to maintain this as he goes along into that first, oh, no. What is that there? That's some crazy battle that's happening right now with these two drivers. But Romulus is sticking it. He's holding it. Man. As the driver goes side by side with him, we'll see where he ends up. But what an interesting battle that's happening out here in P12 and P13. He's unable to capitalize on that straightaway. We'll see if he can't pull ahead here. So Andre Luis Luz is still on the inside there. I think he's going to be able to stick it. We'll just pull ahead of some of these drivers. Eric Miller was unable to capitalize on Riley Manier there, so I don't think anything's going to happen. As we have one of the cars ending this race, starting this race.
The leader has finished the race.
Look at that. Richie Girolman is a P1 over Riley Manier in P2. Eric Miller, P3. And we have Pickrell across the line in P4. Lindauer is going to be going across the line in P5. Pickrell finally, finishing this race in a position that he deserved. He was in P3 last race, but he was unable to capitalize on it because he ran out of gas. Daniel Kaslassi, P6. Jed Engelman, P7. Oh, what happened there? Oh. Did they go cross? Okay, they crossed. Kolos and Josh Willis following P8 and P9, technically. Jed Engelman was disqualified. All right, as we have Constable Cody Wassam finishing in P10, Granotis P11, Romulus P11, yeah, and then Luis P12. Romulus was able to get ahead of him in the end of that race. This has been an interesting race.
Green light. Go, go, go.
All right, looks like Daniel Kaslassi, the V8 Racing team, is going to be the first one out the door when it comes to this outlap. One second there. There's Richard Gerolman's TWP Skin. And then we have Provolone. I'll go take a look at him. Provolone's TWP racing skin as well. Possibly. Looks a little different from the team, but alright. So we'll jump on board. Oh man. With a list like this, it's going to be very difficult to be navigating these waters. What's happening here? Alright. We will stay on board for Daniel Kyalami, who's going to be the first person on his hot lap as he goes through that getting closer to bus stop. He'll be definitely wanting to push it as these tires are now finally getting warm. Yeah, Spartan. It's green and white, or pink and white. Yeah, I just downloaded what's there. All right, Daniel Kyalami is in the lead here of these drivers, and see if he can pull off a great time. Although he has Josh Willis and Lindauer behind him, very close on their hot laps as well, with Riley Manier behind him and Richie Girolman behind that driver. But got some good distance forming here. Interesting that Daniel Kyalami is in front. He has a driver in front of him. That's Constable Cody Wassam, who's on his out lap. So we will see that driver give up position during quali if he indeed gets too close. Just the kind of respect you'd see at a track like sim racing, that these drivers would, you know, try to give the best respect to anyone else on their hot laps by getting out of the way if they invalidate their lap or also on a hot lap themselves. Well, which driver you're going to have to get on that then? Breaking files. So you can see in the middle of the screen there, we have a 220 as that clock is going up. We were seeing practice times at 2:44 being the fastest anybody did with a valid lap. We'll see if what the consensus is with these drivers who are extremely fast is going to be going across this line. You see another few seconds off, and it's going to be pulling off a 144.1 flat. Josh Willis with a 144.6, Lindauer with a 146.1, and Riley Manier at 144.6, 144.8. Wow. So Daniel Kyalami is the driver who started the qualifying out first, has been the fastest driver through qualifying so far. There's Josh Willis has already dropped on the board to P8 with his racing time, 1:44.6. Oh, as we see a couple drivers go across the line here. Brian Knappen with a 1:41.9. That is a strong pace. And there you go, seeing a TWP racing driver, Jason Provolone, with a 2:43.5. That is P2. So in perspective, that is a 1.5 second off the fastest driver. Daniel Kaslassi is a 2 seconds off the fastest driver. And then it just goes down from there with valid laps. Only 8 people have set valid laps. Unless, yeah, Josh Wilson's time must have not been valid, or else it would be showing up on the list here. One of the things that we're noticing right now is that qualifying has ended, and a lot of these drivers, half the grid has not made a time. So it's all going to be about having a valid lap. When it's wet conditions like this, you want to just cross the line in a valid way. Especially if you know you're going to be able to get two laps in, 2 strong valid laps. Go a little safer on that first lap and then push in on the second one. As Provolone has invalidated his lap, he's off track there. Josh Willis has crossed the line, and he is a 1:43.8, so he's improved upon his time. He's P5 but I don't think we're going to see another driver do better. As let's try to get on board with somebody. That Riley Manier is in the pits, and he is a top 3 type of driver, so the fact that he's in the pits is really going to make things interesting for the drivers in the backfield, as we see half the grid not form a valid lap. With this driver, who is an open lobby driver, is the fastest driver we have. And we have wet conditions again. With track tempo 29 degrees and winds going southwest at 7 kilometers an hour. This is going to be a very interesting race. We have Brian Knappen in P1. Richie Drolman is the TWP racing team in P2. Daniel Kaslassi in P3. Jason Provolone of the TWP racing team also at the starting grid. So you have 2 drivers of the TWP at the front of the pack. That's going to be very strong for these drivers to maintain. I think these 2 drivers in the V8 racing are actually part of the same team. If they're not, then they're just using the same livery, basic stock livery, and well, at least they're sported together. We have Josh Willis in P5, Andrew Pickrell in the Totally Legit Racing team in P6, Stefan Lendauer in P7, Santiago Orozco, the Tacos Locos, is in P8, Eric Cassian of the Betelgeuse team is in P9 in the Porsche. We got Jose Bravo of the Tacos Locos. Look at those 2 drivers, both on the same. And I won't get to the rest of the blocks there. We're starting this race. But it was nice looking. We will pull pan onto Provolone there, and we go through this formation lap. Let's get good. There's nothing going to be more interesting than a helo cam at the start of this race. We are going to have the front of this pack really pull good pace through that first sector. The issue is who's going to make an egregious, outlandish move that will destroy half the pack.
Green line, show them where you go.
And here we are, green, green, green. We're getting into it as we're just going through in Rouge. Safe, safe, still safe. Still safe. Okay, we're out there, boys. We are through this with some ease, as we are already seeing a strong difference in driving as these drivers have pulled away from that initial pack. We will see a couple of these drivers really start to make some strong overtakes right off the bat, because, you know, we do have a lot of strong drivers here. And I'm trying to pan with for you. Sorry about this. Just get a good overhead. We have Riley Manier and already in P9, and he started towards the midfield there. We're going to be seeing a very strong race from him, as the race lead, Brian Knappen, is already pulling a slight distance away from the other drivers. And we have a racing incident that occurred in the backfield there. As Andrew Edison is getting back onto the board. Oh, as Eric Miller pulls Chronotis into a racing incident. I don't know what happened there, but Chronotis went sideways on that, and they are going to be falling back very shortly. Watson was able to maintain his line as he went through that. Was that not? That was Chad Engelman, actually, I believe. Yeah, because he's the Flying Lizard. So that was Jed Engelman and Chronotis that had an incident occur. And those drivers are back in the backfield. We have already seen it, and that's why I wanted to really stick with this driver, is that Riley Manier is already P8 from the backfield. Wow. Eric Ukasi and Jose Bravo really had an incident occurred. As they have another incident occur as Cody Wassam also and Jerry Shurik. I don't know what's happening, but we have some drivers that are really off in that first corner. Ooh, as we see Professor Notes go through that, and now he is going midline with this other driver, Jerry Shurik. We have a lot of drivers that are tight between 5, 6, 7, and 8th place. I think even 9th place. No, 8th place. Oh, this driver is, Pickerel's going a little wobbly there through that curb. These two are neck and neck. the most interesting part about Pickrell's attack here is that he's also having to really kind of defend at the same time, as we have Jason Provolone only half a second off of this driver. He's going to be making a move on Pickrell, as Pickrell's trying to make a move on Josh Willis. It's a little bit of a die down there. Brian Canapin is in P1, full 241.8 as his time. Richie Girolman with a 243.1. We're definitely not going to see those two drivers get close to each other without some type of driver error occur as we go through this first turn here. Nice smooth. As they almost touch, as Pickrell goes side by side with this driver, we're going to be seeing Josh Willis try to take the inside and really just try to get back at it, but it's not wise to go double wide through this. As Pickrell loses a lot of time going wide through that. As two drivers make contact back there. Oh, as a third driver makes contact. That's Tokos Locos into the back of Riley Manier. Oh my God, as Santiago Orozco is in the wall. And he's going to... Oh, and he goes back onto the track and makes contact with another driver. Oh, that is such an immense amount of destruction occurring. As we have Constable Cody Wassam on the side of the track. Multiple drivers taken out by this situation. Oh, no. Oh, no. That is the second time Wassam has been dropped off into the backfield by a racing incident. I don't know who's at fault there. Provolone was involved in that incident, I believe. You have... Wow. Oh, as we see another driver go off as Eric Miller tries to regain control. He's now in P12. It is anyone's game. Cronotis looks like he had some contact in that scuffle, as he has some damage showing on the front end there. It is hard to say who did what, but you can try to go on board here and see what's happening, as this driver is really trying to hold it together. Looks like there's some damage on the front end as well as the back end there. There's a bit of silence here as I'm trying to make sense of what happened. We have Pickrell also with some damage on the front end, on the side, and in the back, and on the other side. Josh Willis goes across with a 243.5, so he is maintaining a good pace with Daniel Kaslassi, who was, had one of the strongest paces in quali. So they're both going across. That is a big spread between these drivers as P1 goes through We don't see any slip-ups from any of these drivers as they come across, with all drivers from P1 to P6 really pulling a strong distance from each other as Jose Bravo goes through. And we see another driver getting close. Jerry Shurik is on the inside of Jose Bravo as they pull through the straight here, with another driver, Cronotis, right behind him. Let's see what's going to happen on this inside. Looks like Jerry's going to be able to hold his line here. He will be ahead of these drivers as he slides through. Oh, he breaks through that completely, missing his braking point, if I had to guess, but still holds through because, oh, it looks like he's going to be giving position back to Cronotis. As we go a little wide here, we'll take a gander at this driver and see if what's going on here. So we have Eric Cassian trying to have a go at Jose Bravo. It's gonna happen here on this inside. Let's see. Good braking. Good braking. There he goes. Calculated overtake through that corner. So we have two drivers. Luis Andre Luz in the V8 Racing is also on the inside of Eric Miller. He might be able to stick it here as he does. Very strong. Well, you're going to see a lot of that kind of action occurring from all the drivers because that is a good place to really stick in the inside and maintain it through that line. Gain some speed. We see nothing but strong driving from these race leads that are all just seconds, or if not multiple seconds off of each other. We have this V8 Racing, Brian Knappen is still holding a 240.9. This man is an alien. He knows how to drive in the wets. He is holding his line. He's going to be holding P2 with the other drivers going across the line at P242.5 seconds. 243.6, 243.5. So Josh is catching on Daniel Caslassi, but 243.7 from Andrew Pickerel for the Totally Legit Racing team. As we see Rudy Menier come across with a 244.1. I don't know if we'll see an improved time from this driver because he probably has a significant amount of damage from all of the incidents that occurred at the top of that spot. Just an incalculable amount of drivers that had incidences occur in that moment. As we have Erica Casson going a little wide through that. We have some issues that occurred. We have Jed Engelman and Jose Bravo that are, side to side with each other. It really is interesting to see what happened because Eric Cassian is now P8 over a couple of those drivers. So must have been some racing incident occurred through that. Jed Engelman holds it on Jose Bravo, the Tacos Locos team, and they are going to be going through that just cleanly. Try to just jump across the track here and just see nothing but Constable Cody Wassam is in the pits in a brief moment of silence for the man that has not had any good luck occur tonight. You hate to see it. So we see a lot of damage from Andrew Petson, who was also involved in that incident that occurred a couple of laps ago. As this driver also has Sir Lewis has some scuffles that occurred. That's probably affecting his aero damage for sure. You see Jason Provolone in P15 also trying to get close to those packs. The only attacks we have really going on are Eric Miller, Andre Luis Luz, and Jose Bravo. Let's just jump aboard one of these drivers. We're going to have Eric Miller trying to have a go on the inside, but don't think that's going to be enough. Oh, P1 just pulled out a impressive 142 flat. The man is doing the aliens' work here. Like, just keeping a strong pace throughout this, match that is occurring right now. It's just incredible. There's no even reason to look at the man. He's just P1 as that driver goes off into the grass, causing him to slip out. See, ooh, that's a little bit of, that was too close for comfort, but Eric, as he just taps that driver, Jose Bravo, a little love tap from Eric Miller there as they go through. Let's see if anything changes through this first corner here. He has a very clean exit, so he's going to be, of course, able to take that from the outside there. So we'll jump ahead to some of these drivers. See if anyone is in a risk of losing out as Josh Willis is getting close to Daniel Caslassi. And these drivers that are in P1, 2, and 3 aren't going to be really seeing anything. Or sorry, P1 and 2 aren't going to be seeing anything interesting happen for them. Because we have a Brian Knappen has at least a 10-second lead over P2 and a 5-second lead from P3 to P2. But Daniel Castellassi is definitely going to have to stay defensive against Josh Willis because this is a fight that's going to be over shortly. They're halfway through the Sector 2, and this is it. Leaders on the last lap. Ooh, that's a breaking point. Oh, that's a little bit of contact. That is not something you hope to see, but it was there, and it just turned him a little bit to the side. Was able to hold on and stick it as they went through that corner. But yikes, that is that's not something you want to think about at the end of a race. Ooh, breaking through that corner like that, I don't know if anyone would want to do that. That's a hard break from Daniel Castellassi as Josh tries to go, and he's going to have to cut the track there. Is he going to give the position back to this driver? Yes, he is. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it's going to end here. As we have Brian Knappen in P1, Richie Girolamo in P2, Daniel Castellassi in P3, Josh Willis in P4, Pickerel P5, Rudy Manier P6. I know it doesn't look like that, but somebody just left the track, and that was number 1. So Riley Manier in P5 or 6. Cornotis goes across the line, and he is P7. Eric Cassian's P8. I know it doesn't look that way, but someone left. And then we have Jerry Sherrick in P9. Jet Engelman in P10, 11, P11. You can't even bother at this point. You can't even see who's who. Like, what are the results? Back to the garage. It wasn't the final, that's for sure. But we will hold steady here. We have a couple drivers going across. Petson, Orozco's still on it. Yeah. Let's just take a brief breather. We are just going to go back and take a look at that race and take a look at the results, because the results changed as people were not totally there. But the race is still on. I'm just doing a quick replay. We are going to be going to the second of the doubleheader on Spa for a night race. Don't know if it's going to be raining, but take a look here and see where it was Josh. There's already damage there. Okay, so we don't have damage on this driver just yet. So we'll take a good overview of what's happening. So Josh Willis is in P4. He goes through this, and that's it right there. That's all it was. That was the antithesis we needed for what just happened here. We'll pull this back. We have Andrew Pickler, who goes into a wall, creating an incident that occurs with Jason Provolone, who goes sideways almost, hits that driver. That driver gets hit. Whoa. Back 5 seconds. This driver gets hit by Riley Manier. That's unavoidable as Santiago Orozco hits that driver. Also unavoidable. And then you have Provolone, who's just maintaining his distance there, and they see that driver. But that's not the end here. As Orozco tries to go back on. So drop that back. We have his own teammate, Jose Bravo, goes past. What happened? What's happening here? Because I don't quite get it. Oh, there it is. Takes out Constable Cody Wassam. Cornotis misses that driver. Jerry misses. Eric Ucassian goes through. Clean. Oh. Yikes. That's just a domino effect of the worst possible outcome going at the top of that hill. It was a simple racing incident that translated to a multi-car crash that effects were seen. The reality is you would want to wait if you were Santiago and just sitting. Ooh, these drivers are already sitting in qualifying. You must have skipped that free practice. Take a look at what drivers. It's still flooded track. Now that is going to be interesting. All right, who's actually in front? Santiago Orozco looks like to be in front. So we'll just hold on this driver as we'll get a good look at what's happening here. He's the first driver that'll be crossing the line, and the driver that should be hopefully setting the standard for what's going to be a very interesting race. Flooded conditions with 0 winds. So it's going to be... I think one of the troubles that people fall into when it comes down to a wet track is they still try to maintain a certain level of aggressiveness that just isn't called for when you're in a flooded or when you're in a wet condition. You just have to wait for the mistakes that are made by the drivers that try to do something too aggressively. And that's been the case with drivers going out, just like you saw at that corner there, or corners coming up. As he goes into bus stop, he is going to be starting his lap. We'll go on board as his passenger and see how he fares through this endeavor. Now, if he does go... What the heck? That was a little weird. I didn't know what happened there, but I was, off a little directional issue. But we'll be pushing through and seeing what this driver is capable of doing on the first hot lap with Eric Cassian followed short behind him. Now, if he doesn't stick it here, it's best to just pull away to another driver because you need it here. And invalid as he goes. Eric Cassian's going to make his go at this. Remains valid. Really slow. But slow doesn't matter. Valid does. When it comes down to a race like this, in these conditions, valid matters because a lot of people try to make their fastest time. The time that they get is he goes invalid. We are off to the races here. We have Chronotis going through this corner. Let's see if he stays valid. See, that's safe. He's approaching this in the way that you need to. Maintain safety through this race. You're gonna have 2 hard, valid laps to do this. So why not just try to maintain track limits and get through that lap, get a time. Regardless of the time, it's a time, and you're on the board and you're above most of the grid. Because half this grid isn't going to qualify because they're trying to maintain a fast pace. What really matters is valid laps, especially when it's wet conditions like this. So we have a driver that's, hopped on the side there. That looks like R. Myers. It's unfortunate for that driver. But it still is outlap as this driver goes very wide. Invalid. So this driver went wide. This driver doesn't really matter. But then we have this driver, invalid. Constable Cody Wassam. Hopefully this driver is still valid. I can't tell from this angle. He's got some heavy resistance with some lap traffic here. Don't know if any of these drivers, even though they are invalid, they should give him position. I don't know if they will. It's an open lobby, so people don't really have to do such a thing because why do something that commands respect? As that driver does go wide, maybe he did allow him the space to keep pushing. It looks like with 30 seconds on the clock, it looks like Constable Cody Watson is going to be able to pull off another lap here as he pulls off a 2:58, pulling the best P1 position. And that's all that matters, people. Yes, these drivers can get down to 144, but at this point, valid matters. And even if, Wassam is pulled back to like P5 because some drivers were a little bit more aggressive, what we're seeing is what a race lead is capable of doing. Maintaining track limits through a qualifying event is all that matters, especially when the conditions are so wet like this. You just want to drive clean, not fast, clean. And P2 is Jose Bravo, who's in the pits, which technically means, if I'm not mistaken, if this driver never pulled out a time in general, we're looking at one driver that is valid. If my math is solid, it's another driver goes off, which Cody Watson's going to go off, and he goes off pretty hard. We'll pull to let's try to get somebody that's doing something with their times. Seeing a lot of people go wide on that. Let's see if Chronotis can maintain track limits here as he goes through this. Keeps it soft. It's all you need. Keep it clean. His session has ended. We have one driver, if I'm not mistaken, that has a valid lap. My gosh. When do you see that? We have drivers that have done 2 full laps, 1 lap, a bunch of drivers that didn't go in and qualify at all. But we have one driver that had only one driver. I don't know what to say. Constable Cody Wassam is going to be holding P1 against an entire grid of drivers that didn't qualify. And because none of these drivers qualified, whichever point they enter the server is the position that they're going to have for this race. That's got to be very frustrating, being somebody at the backfield, being like, we're 18 cars deep, and not a single driver qualified besides one. That's just unacceptable to a high degree. That you'd think that these drivers want to maintain a strong competitive nature. As we're going to the night race. This is the second race in the double header here at Spa Francorchamps. Wait, say that again. Spa. There you go. I'm just going to briefly pan through these drivers as I don't really want to have to pronounce every person's name as we have 15 seconds left on this grid. But you will be able to see their names at the right-hand side. Dakota Williams. Tomas Ortiz. Malte Newark. All right, as we have a driver that failed to start on the drive, so he's going to be going start from the pits, which might prove to be the choice for any driver to do so, because what we have here is a very wet race with semi-flooded conditions that was occurring. You just hope that you're going to see like a dry line start to form as these drivers are going to be pushing through lap by lap. It's not known just yet.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Here we go in the helo cam as these drivers go down the first set. Ooh. I don't know if that was contact, but Josh Willis goes a little wide. Josh Willis has some contact there. We're too wide with a third driver trying to get a good go at this driver. Ooh. Get onto this cam as ooh. Looks like Pickrell's going to be having to battle out against another driver that just pushed ahead of him. So that was Cornotis in car number 42 as he goes a little wide there. And he holds it. Andrew Pickrell is now in P3, holding it. Josh Willis is stuck in P2. He did have a moment where he was ahead of that other driver, Constable Cody Watson, but it has changed. I'm just going down the pack. We had a incident that occurred with Duo Siente, who is in the backfield now. We're going to see the aggressive nature of Cornotis as he tries to attack the back end of Pickrell. Car number 1. Don't think we'll see anything happen to... Oh, as that driver goes off and back on. Malte Newark narrowly avoids Santiago Orozco there. As we have another driver who is sideways. Dakota Williams has lost control or had an incident occur, but thankfully no other drivers were collected in that event. Oh, Josh Willis is P1 right now. Oh, spoke too soon. Constable Cody Watson comes on the outside there. He's going to be able to take it. But Josh has the inside line on this next turn. We'll see if he holds it in. It's a calculated overtake there by Josh. As we are going to be going up the Eau Rouge, let's see how this fares. Strong driving. A couple drivers went wide. That's no, it's about average. we see two drivers go too wide through this turn. That is going to be Pickrell in the lead there, Provolone and Chronotis, who just got overtaken by Jason Provolone as they move through this sector. As we see Yuri Janert, a Russian by chance, is going to be defending against Eric Cassian with the Armenian flag there. Just jump back away from them. So Jason Provolone goes a little wide. It looks like that's going to be all the need that Chronotis gets to being in front of him. So that's another overtake in just a couple of corners. It's unfortunate. It's wet conditions. This is going to happen where these drivers slip up a little. But we have Constable Cody Wasson just on the heels of Josh Willis, who was in P1 in that Porsche, car number 22. And we will be seeing the valid laps for these drivers for race pace as they go through these next corners into bus stop. We'll see if anything changes. Josh Willis across the line with a 245.1. Constable Cody Wasson with a 246.5. Pickrell with a 246.7. Chronotis with a 248.1. Provolone with a 248.6. And then down the list it goes. So I think we're going to be looking at a 245, 244 race pace for these drivers. As you have to remember, Constable Cody Wasson finished with a 258 in quali. He was the only driver to qualify. He is P2 and only a second and a half off the race pace of the leader here. So that's the strategy going to these wet races. He is in his position because he maintained a good qualifying lap. As these drivers are going to still kind of split away from each other a little bit. I think Pickrell might try to have a go at Wasson shortly, but not at this moment in time. So we have this driver pull ahead on his cam. Is Yuri Janert is going to try to attack Chronotis here, and he is not letting up. Where this driver breaks, the other one goes strong. Good defense by car number 42. He's following his braking line, but it looks like Chronotis went a little wide, and this driver's going to maintain that quick inside as we have a driver that has gone off in the backfield. And Yuri Janert has pulled out to P4 with that overtake. As Provolone drops into P5, just pulling in on that mistake. Ooh, a little bit of shake up from the wheel, but he's got this. Chronotis is about a second off of Provolone's point. Halfway through this race, we'll see if we pan to some other drivers and see what they're doing here. We have our midfield is really, really spread out. This shows maybe the complexity of driving in the wets as well as the skill of the drivers. Pulling out some really, strong times as well as, pace away from other drivers. It's really showing really in the midfield more than anything else, as the drivers in the front are fairly skilled in maintaining their positions. Yeah, you would not see it any other way. These are all trackless sim racing drivers, and they hold all spots to P7 besides P4. But that driver in P4 is a strong driver. He's really holding his own against these drivers that he's going up against. It is an open lobby, so anything can happen. But just to show and highlight how clean these drivers are, they are really just a good stretch, seconds, and within half a second to a second pace. They bunch up a little bit when they're going through those turns, but spread right back out during those straightaways. It just really shows you how strong their pace is. And we are going to see a Jerry Shurik is in the wall. Looks like he had a little bit of an incident. No, I don't see any damage from Dumas Ortiz, so maybe he didn't do anything to him. But we'll see a lot of drivers passed on by Jerry Shurik as he now falls back. He was P7, I believe. So that's unfortunate. I think that might have been a little bit of the driver's curse, or the commentator's curse, because I just said 1 through 7, and Shurik was in that lineup. So going through that corner, he had a little bit of an issue. So this driver is getting a little close, Yuri Yanurt, to a pickerel. It's getting a little close to Wassam. Is he going to try to take him on this next corner before bus stop? Be interesting to see. That is just different. I mean, like, I don't know if I normally tap on my brakes when I'm going through that corner. But it is a wet race, and things might just be a difference in how someone is able to drive this. But he makes a quick, clean overtake through that inside corner on the chicane. But it looks like Pickerel is going to try to have a go at him as they go side to side. Hard to see, but there we go. Take a good look. Yuri Yanurt's going to be able to stick this as he goes directly through that. Not the ideal line, but I think he's going to hold it if he maintains this inside as they go through. Ooh, I think I spoke too soon as Pickerel goes straight through and is holding P3 again. And just a better racing line. I think Yuri Yanurt's going to really hold this. Now we have a stop and go from R. Myers in the Ginetta. Car number 15. Ooh, Yuri Yanurt goes wide on that on the braking point, but he doesn't look like he's going to try to pull ahead on that and try to break track limits. He did actually. Yuri Yanurt has pulled ahead and is not giving up the position and is even having a go at P2. It's not within the limits of what we would do here at Trackless Sim Racing. The stewards would give this person a penalty if they do not give up the position to the other driver. But it looks like he's going to start getting close to Constable Cody Wassam there as he's holding P2. You just hope nothing happens with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left on the clock. Like, this is an open lobby race right now, so what we're seeing is an open lobby driver not adhering to some core beliefs to Trackless Sim Racing, which is if you overtake through track limits, you have to give back that position. That position isn't really yours. He really isn't in P3. He would get a grid penalty going into the next race. If this was a season race, we wouldn't actually hold it into open lobby if it's a season race. So that's the only issue of what's happening right now. As Pickerel, Constable Cody Wassam goes off hard into the Extremely wide, but he's able to maintain P2. But all this driver needs is a good line. Is he bumps that driver? Wassam is maintaining P2, but he did just get a little tap in the back there. As we see Josh Willis in P1 holding strong with a 244.1. The drivers maintained a strong lead, and we're seeing it there. What a race from Josh. It was a race for him at the start, and after that, it's been pace. It's been maintaining pace, and the driver's done so. And as we go through this final lap, and he maintains P1, it's just really about that. Awesome goes a little wide and is having troubles. Is Yuri Yanert is going to have a go at him? Is they're too wide through this? He's got the inside, but he doesn't have the outside for when we're going to go through that. Oh, another tap. His pick roll also goes wide. He is being extremely aggressive towards Cody Wassam there. This is just... You hope nothing bad happens, but that type of driving is neck and neck. And he's doing this with a driver that he doesn't know. So he's hoping to expect the same drive lines. But with the braking distance, with it being wet and him braking the way he is, that's just... Oh my gosh, as he finally hits Constable Cody Wassam, and as he goes wide, Pickerel is able to send it on the inside, and so is Provolone. He loses P2. Oh, and losing it completely. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my gosh. That wasn't clean racing, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't clean racing. I don't know what to say. Nobody deserves to be taken out of a race when it is on the final lap and you're maintained that kind of position in a driver that is that reckless with their aggressive attempts. Is Josh Willis with a 245 of last, wins the race, P2. Yuri Yanert, P2 here. Josh Willis, P1. Yuri Yanert, P2. Chrono, P3. Provolone, P4. Pickerel crossing the line at P5. Tomas Ortiz of Kush Racing, 420. I get the reference. Haha. P6. Erich Armijo in P7. Actually, it's not going to show up anymore because we're getting mixed results. Maybe we can go to the timetable. That was Provolone P4, Pickerel P5, Ortiz, Jerry Shirk in P8, Erica Cassian P9, Sir Lewis P10, Duecente P11, Pattison P12, Orozco P13, Wassam P14, Myers P15, Crossland P16, and Jose Bravo in P17. It's to be noted that that driver, R. Myers, has a 160 seconds added time for himself. It's no good. Yeah. We see Santiago Orozco crossing the finish line. Well, this has been something. Hate to leave you on a lull, but you know, sometimes it's just it's not a victory for everybody, especially when they could have used it. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And while I would like to have the drivers come in and speak, I think we're just going to end this one. Hope you enjoyed the double header. Well, technically quad header. It was two night and day, so a night and day at Kyalami and a night and day at Spa. And this is the 15-minute race ones that we're doing, but it's mid-season break, and we will be going into our GT4 Championship Series in the following month coming up. So join us. Join Tracklicious Sim Racing in the Discord button right there if you want clean, fair, safe driving, mostly. All right, yeah.